It's 6 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. We are so happy to see all of you here with us. Before we begin, would you bow your heads in prayer with us? Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for your many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for all our citizens that are here, those that have gathered that love Orangeburg. We appreciate you for that love. And thank you for City Council and for all of the City Council. Help us, Lord, guide us and lead us. And continue to bless our city, keep us safe, keep us healthy. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Tonight we have a public hearing regarding the development at Edisto Gardens. But before we begin, we're going to ask Ms. Sarah Newman to come and just kind of update this audience. And Ms. Sarah, just state, where you from and your company.
Thank you for having me tonight. I believe I was told that I need to keep it under 5 minutes, so I apologize, but I will be reading so I can make sure I cover everything. Okay. Hi, my name is Sarah Neiman, and I'm here representing myself and my partners who would like to bring workforce housing to Orangeburg. I hope that many of you came tonight with an open mind and were also able to view online the Planning Commission unanimous approval for recommendation, as well as the first reading that passed at City Council a couple weeks ago. As you are aware, I am here to request a rezoning from B1 to B2. Under B1 zoning, multifamily is allowed as a conditional use. At this time, we have satisfied those requirements, and a letter has been provided to council tonight. I am not here to ask on whether or not multifamily can be allowed on these parcels. Rather, I am here to ask you to approve the rezoning to B2 to allow the site plan to offer more parking for potential adjacent uses, a city space that will be incorporated inside our first level as a welcome center, or whatever the city would like to use that space for to encourage additional economic opportunities, and also to open the site plan a little more to allow for recreational areas, open space, and an additional buffer and landscaping. Under the current zoning, I am eligible for 43 units. However, I am asking to be allowed for 52 units with B2 zoning. That's we're proposing 40 units. To go to B2 zoning, I'm asking for 52 units. This is a 12-unit discussion. It gives the location a more spacious site plan. It allows housing for much-needed demographic and allows for the city to have additional mixed uses right within the parcels. I have spoken to many of you in this room tonight. I appreciate those who have reached out to me to inquire and learn firsthand what is being proposed tonight. There is a lot of misinformation and fear-mongering happening with lies and mistruths. The truth is, Orangeburg is in need for quality, workforce, affordable housing. As your young adults graduate from high school and the several colleges here in Orangeburg, where do you expect them to live? At the moment, all of the properties are full with waiting lists. Where do you expect new professionals who move into the area to live? There is no answer. Everything starts with housing. Housing must come first to promote all levels of economic opportunity. The property proposed is workforce housing. It is for individuals, families, seniors who earn a living wage but are unable financially to obtain homeownership. I have brought tonight to council printed salaries from Orangeburg public websites. On there, you will see who qualifies to live in our community. It is your firemen, city workers, custodians, bus drivers, teachers, public safety officers, computer workers, employees, restaurant workers, retail workers, librarians, etc. All these earners are the backbone to a thriving and prosperous community. If given the opportunity, these residents would live and work right within Orangeburg. They would spend their hard-earned money at local grocery stores, dollar stores, restaurants, retails, etc. I have heard from restaurant owners along Russell Street and downtown. All of them have told me of their struggles to keep their doors open. Profit margins are very thin. Without the demographic, how do they keep their doors open? They are leaving because they were unable to make a living economically. They could not find stability in the location they are in. I have over 50 letters of support from individuals and businesses right within the city center area. I also have the support of Senator Hutto and Congressman Clyburn. Do you not hear the voices of all those residents? Do they not count? They are also your constituents who vote for you. By signing the letters of support, they are asking for this housing to come and keep the doors open. Again, housing brings not only quality housing for residents, but the money to spend to support local businesses, retails, and restaurants. By bringing the housing to the area, you are increasing the population to your city center. Your center should be the focal point of a community. People bring dollars to spend. I am proposing what all city centers strive to do: a live, work, play where all residents can stay, raise families, earn money, and retire in Orangeburg. It was mentioned to me at the last meeting that City Council thought they did not have a plan to follow to provide this type of housing currently. This is not true. There are 2 plans out there in place. One is the Downtown Vision Plan, a charrette that was put in place in 2014. At that time, surveys, public meetings were held to have discussions and brainstorm on how Orangeburg could promote economic viability. I am within that plan as the boundaries extend from Edisto Gardens down Russell Street to Railroad Corner. Secondly, and most important, the city has a comprehensive plan. The plan reflects needs and wants and desires and goals to achieve those plans. It is the foundation of what makes up every city. There is a housing section in which it talks about the need for almost 900 multifamily units by 2025. How many have you been able to achieve? There has only been 1 apartment community in the last 10 years, and that was 40 units. Clearly, by your own comprehensive plan, you have not met your housing goal. In addition, the land use section of the comprehensive plan breaks it all to what specifically is appropriate for a zoning district and character areas. On page 7.48 of the plan, it states, the list of zoning district alternatives is designed to give developers the needed flexibility to meet changing market conditions within the general framework of the plan. However, changes permitted by alternative districting or rezoning are inherently limited by a plan map goals and objectives for various areas. If there is a deficiency in the plan or conditions have been changed, the plan itself should be amended in this way. The commission, together with the council, will continually evaluate the plan for applicability. Underneath the plan, page 7.6, we are defined on what area we are in. We are located in the general commercial land use, and I quote, "The garden district between Broughton and Edisto Gardens is another area defined as general commercial due to its location between which appears to support less intensive commercial and mixed-use activities, including professional offices, small shops, and hopefully some new in-town residential." On page 7.21 of the plan, our area is further defined as urban community mixed-use character area. Situated in multiple locations throughout the city, the areas are designated as urban communities should be appropriate areas for cities of high density, residential development, and potential mixed uses. These communities allow for a variety of housing options, providing opportunities for workers in the community to also live in the community. The portions of downtown from Catino Street and Edisto Gardens is identified here as urban community areas. Russell Street is also included. These areas seek to provide objectives that promote housing opportunities, infill, mixed-use development, open spaces, preservation, and environmental protection. Page 7.35 of your plan gives a description of that area. This is inclusive land use category for multiple adjacent parcels that support major activity centers in and outside the city with a variety of mixed retail, commercial, office, civic institutional uses. High-density residential land may also be a part of these mixed-use centers. The land uses are multiple independent parcels within a specific demographic area. These activity centers should provide interactive, mixed-use development opportunities and support internal pedestrian-oriented accessibility. They said also minimize the impact of business development on neighboring properties. The most policy stated on this page also says to promote the development of areas so classified by the plan map and permit rezoning for higher intensity and densities. This should include housing and mixed-use vertical structures in these activity centers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We wanted Mrs. Sarah Nimmons to give us an update. At this time, we're going to ask you, if you're going to come to the podium and speak, please speak 3 minutes and state your name and your address for our records, whether you live in the city or in the county. This is a public hearing, and you may speak as you raise your hand to be recognized to come to the podium. We will speak on these 2 items, the zoning and the consideration of purchase of the putting the apartments in those gardens. So just you can raise your hand, I can recognize you. Okay, come on, ma'am. State your name and your address. 3 minutes, please. We have a buzzer that goes off. Okay.
As a former teacher, I know all about timing.
Yeah.
I agree with the things that have been said that we do need. Oh, excuse me. I'm Meredith Baker. I live at 184 Scoville Street, so
Okay.
very close. And I do agree with the workforce housing points that have been made. I have a daughter who is a school counselor. Her husband is a firefighter, EMT. So I know the struggles that young families have with finding places to live. That being said, I feel like the location right there at the centerpiece of our town, the gardens, is maybe not the perfect spot for it. My question would be, what box has not been checked or cannot be checked with an alternate location somewhere that's empty or ready to be sold within, maybe a mile or so of where we're talking about? I know we're here to rezone from B1 to B2, and that's the question here. My concern is that opens the door to the ball rolling towards something that maybe most people or some people are a little concerned about. I feel like we can come up with a compromise that will bring us the housing, hopefully. I mean, I really do believe that we need that. And still keep the space at the front of the gardens open for something. And I'm a teacher, so I was thinking a STEM center where we talk about the science around the black water. How does the water wheel work? We can do some technology, some English. I used to teach language arts to middle schoolers, so we write a poem about a rose, and mathematics. So I feel like there's something that can help families and can also draw visitors to our town, because, people that live here, that's what, 60 folks? That's going to help downtown, but I think bringing in people from out of county, out of state even, to come see what we have here and make it an experience rather than just a little trip through the gardens would be the way to go to help bring business and customers and have people have housing that they need. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person? Come, stand, sir. Yes. Not you, Miss Rainey. I think he's behind you. Okay. Go ahead, Miss Rainey.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
You're in my seat. I'm Joyce Rainey, and I live in Livingston Terrace, 279 Livingston Terrace. I had 20 years of service on this council, so I'm aware of the needs of the city of Orangeburg. And I agree there should be some housing, but this isn't the right place. We had identified areas that were blighted, several years ago. And those particular areas have not been sold or anything for any housing. The workforce housing question was new to me. The senior housing is not new to me. So I'm here to tell you that I'm appearing before you to oppose the rezoning of this 440 Russell Street from B1 to B2. Also, there's a small partial of, I think it's almost 1 acre, of property that the city of Orangeburg owns right now. And when I was on the city council, that was offered to the city to protect the gardens a little bit more. So I think that should certainly remain, I don't care how this property goes, into the hands of the city. And just, that's a little more protection the gardens need. There's a history on the gardens. It goes back to 1920. I think the pecan business had 3 generations. That goes way back too. But anyhow, it was 5 acres of land for azaleas only, I think. And I think that Mr. Dibble and a family from Charleston, really, the Ackles, who were in nursery business, are the ones that started the gardens. And so, anyhow, it's grown to 175 acres, but it still is not protected. You have a beautiful entrance into the Edisto Gardens. We've all enjoyed it. This weekend was wonderful, I'm sure, with the young children and the vendors. But it's still growing. We've gone from azaleas to camellias to the enemy of everybody, wisteria and things like this. But anyhow, I just wanted to give you a little history here. And we have added the Veterans Park since then. The Chamber of Commerce is there, that's been landscaped. And before you know it, you have a lot of encroachment into this area if this is approved. I have very strong feelings concerning the rezoning of this property. And I cannot visualize this down on that corner of entrance to the Edisto Gardens.
Okay.
And I thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Rainey. Always welcome. Come on, sir. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Freddie Felder. I live at 3055 Bragg Boulevard. I'm in favor of this project for what it is and also for what it is not. And I think it's very important that everyone understand what it is not. This is not typical government housing. It's not government owned, not government controlled, managed. They don't decide who rents, and they do not pay any of the rent. What this is workforce housing. The key word there is work. The people that live here must have a job, among other requirements. They go through a thorough background check. A lot of the government housing does not do this. These tenants will be busy. They have to go to work each day. What else this is a great opportunity for downtown Orangeburg. We have people here that want to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $30 million investment in downtown Orangeburg at zero cost to the city. What does the city get for this? The city will get an increase in tax revenues from both property taxes, business taxes, and other taxes. DPU is going to get about 60 new customers, all at no cost. This is also private investment money. Revitalization of a downtown area like Orangeburg or anywhere else does not happen without private investment being involved. That's what really makes it go. This will likely bring more private investment. We've heard some negative comments. Some I've heard like too many people be loitering in the gardens. it won't be the people that live here. They got to go to work. We hear it won't look good from the gardens. Do you honestly think these people are going to spend that kind of money and build something that looks worse than what is there now? What's there now is 60, 70, 80, almost 100-year-old buildings. And you see the backside from the gardens, not the front. So this is housing, which is needed. This is private investment, which is needed. This is zero cost to the city. There's no comparable private investment in Orangeburg at this time. It's got to start somewhere, folks. If not this, what?
Thank you.
If not now, when?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Feather. Next person.
Take my badge off. I'm not representing the media, and I'm not going to speak for or against. My name is Harvey Elwood. I live at 676 Buckley Street in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I'm not speaking for or against it. That decision is left up to you guys. All I know is that my family has been here since 1832, and we have worked and labored and watched and hoped that this place would grow and develop into a better community. I think that this development has the ability and the power to do that. How many of you have children who no longer live here or can't afford to live here, who've gone and moved somewhere else? Most of the graduates that we have from our universities and other institutions, whether public or private, leave and go to elsewhere. Somerville, Charleston, New York, Atlanta, somewhere else. We don't have the housing or the infrastructure that's been created to afford these people the opportunity to live here, thrive here, and grow this community as it should. This is an aging community, and it should not be. We need younger people. We need people of vitality in every walk of life, in the police department, in the fire department, and all these people that we need in teaching. And we need to keep them here and have a decent place for them to live. So again, I'm not speaking for it or against it. That's up to you guys. All I can say is I think it might be something that might be very good. The jury is still out on it. But again, I'm not here to speak for it or against it. I have seen that we have, from the railroad corner down to Edisto there are 60 abandoned properties. 60 abandoned properties. And that's from the railroad corner down to the Veterans Memorial. Something has to be done. We need foot traffic up and down Russell Street where people can revitalize those shops and those stores, where people, those vendors in those shops can stay open, people can get a cup of coffee. The courthouse is there. They need to have a place where they can dine and eat. They're building a new courthouse right next door to me, next to the Sims building. So let's work to change this community for the better. And let's look towards the future of what it can be. What it has been is wonderful. I'm a part of it. Like I said, we've been here since 1823. I promise you. And I can prove that. I have the documentation to prove it. But at some point in life, it is time for the next generation to look forward. And we have to allow them to lead us into that. And if they need this housing and this community needs it for them to feel comfortable and live in a viable community, because they can't afford a new house, your new couple. You know a new couple can't afford a brand new house. So, you know, they got to live somewhere. So that's just the brass tacks of it. And I thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Greg Bennett. My wife is Ronnie Bennett. We own Broughton Street Cafe right down the street, okay? We are now in the process of actually starting to redevelop another building on Russell Street as well. Now, currently, over the last 2 years, in the first year, we did well. Coming up in this next, in the last year and a half, we've done mediocre. Why is that? There's no foot traffic. We have nothing that is actually happening, but I will have to say this. Thank you, Lord, for what he has provided for us, okay? we're able to live. But we want to do more than live. When we came to Orangeburg, we came here seeing everything that what it is and what it could be. That's why we're there at that corner. That's why we keep trying to do more. So when we heard about this project that's coming up, we thought, you know what? Amen. Lord, you have put something else in front of us that can help to benefit this business. And not only this business, but every other business or anybody else that want to come into Orangeburg. But they're not going to come right now. We need to have some sort of housing here. Now, this actually, to me, seems to be a great idea, okay? It is workforce housing. Besides that, she just stated that they're already approved for 40 units. So it appears to me like that is going to happen. They're asking for just a little bit more so that they can have a little bit more and provide a little bit more for everybody here. So, like Mr. Harvey said, the decision is not mine. I don't know that the decision is going to be anybody else here. It is going to be up to you guys. But I hope that y'all could understand me as a businessman looking to survive and looking to continue to grow here in Orangeburg. This is our home now. People ask me, why Orangeburg? I say, why not? Well, the way that it looks, why would you do that here? Because we need it. We need that. We need to provide service to people, and I love doing that. And I would love to see more people coming into my shop, into Rosalia's. I'm sorry, Tulio's is not here, but hopefully we can get other business to come in and provide the service that's needed here. But the only way that we're going to do it, the way I see it, is if we get more housing here. Now, when we first moved in here, moved to Orangeburg, we didn't ask for anything. We didn't ask for anything. We didn't ask for any assistance. We did get some grants, right? But other than that, that's it. Now, what we're asking for you to do now is to help us to grow, continue to grow Orangeburg. Now, what business that we have right now, it isn't the end. There's more that we like to see happening here. And I would love to have you guys to assist in that process.
We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Someone, anyone? Yes.
How y'all doing?
All right, how are you?
Clevis Harrison of 154 Holly Creek Drive. Many of you know me for my extensive travels, and I can say that experience that I take throughout my travels from over 75 countries around the world, I've been fortunate to see what is possible. And I like to bring those possibilities here because those possibilities speak on my generation, the younger generation. I've seen many gardens, world-renowned gardens. For what they propose for housing at that particular site, I honestly don't agree. You want to bring in tourism, you want to bring in commercial work. Putting workforce housing, as they say, in that particular location simply doesn't make any sense to me when you think about global attraction. If you want to bring in here and you want to thrive and you want to pull the city in, you have a garden. You have the Rose Gardens. From what I know, there's a plan in place, but the city needs a master plan to zone the entire town to pretty much extend the beauty. I see Orangeburg as a walking town, as a city that can thrive in multiple different ways. But it also starts with education and experiences outside of Orangeburg. Everybody says they see these different things, they want these different aspects, they want to be a part of something, but a lot of them don't know what that even looks like. Every time I come home, it was always, why are you here? And just to simply be at peace. I walk through the gardens, and yes, it does sadden me because I see what is possible. It's tough because visually, I know a plan that in place could attract so much more. You're talking about putting a development on a corner of an entrance for these rose gardens, from what I remember, coming up. I thrived, I played around in that area. So you're talking about building something at a site. That particular site can be monumental. You have all these vacant buildings, you have things that can be restored. Look at downtown Somerville, look at downtown Charleston. I'm sure there are other cities, but through restoration, you can implement different programs through agriculture, education, critical thinking, mathematics, arts, in other programs. I came up in the arts. Everything within this world evolves around creativity. It is around what bounds. But if you don't know what that looks like, you can't really speak on it. They always say, come back home, come back home. Yes, I do come back home, but I come home to share my experiences with others. I can say this because, yes, I'm surrounded around the minds that know how to build cities. They know how to bring awards to small towns. So I'm merely here to help and use my education to do that, but I strongly disagree with workforce housing at the entrance of your highlight.
Thank you so much. We
Surely.
appreciate your comments. Yes, sir.
Good evening, honorable
evening.
members of the council. My name is David McCulley. I live at 990 Mile Street, just a few blocks that way. I might not look it because I have gray hair, but I'm 33 years old. I'm a member of the younger generation. I don't have family in Orangeburg. I moved here when I was 25 because I love the town. I love the Rose Gardens. I love going to the Rose Gardens, taking my son and my wife there. I work in Columbia. My career is not in Orangeburg. I'm in Orangeburg because I choose to be. I work in economic development. I'm an economist. I work for the state. And I've been looking at this problem for the last couple of weeks since it became public knowledge. The issue is not workforce housing. Workforce housing, Orangeburg needs it. Everybody's made that point. It's fantastic. That corner lot, 600,000 people visit the Rose Gardens every year. That's the Orangeburg Department of Parks and Recreation says that. That lot is the gateway for those tourists to turn the corner and visit downtown businesses. And if you have housing there, when they get to the end, that's just going to be the end, and they're going to go back to their cars, and they're going to go home. So I want to suggest an opportunity cost with this. I think in Orangeburg's comprehensive plan, you talk about wanting to invite hotels and other overnight amenities. That lot, in addition to some of the other great suggestions that I've heard tonight, could be a great spot for a boutique hotel, which is a common model for developing downtowns. A boutique hotel right by the gardens where people can have weddings, their guests can come stay. You can host industrial developers who want to come and they want to look at things like the power site. You got to have somewhere for them to stay so they can see downtown and they can see the gardens and they can learn how great this is to live in Orangeburg. From 2020 to 2022, Orangeburg's population fell 1.7%, while the average age rose from 32 to 36. Young people are leaving. My generation is leaving. But I'm staying because I have hope for downtown and the development for downtown. Do we need workforce housing? Yes. And I don't care if it's a block over. But that corner lot is pivotal to attract tourism to downtown, which is a key market for us for developing your downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. If you plan to talk, would you stand and come and line up before we cut off? I want to give as many people opportunity as would you stand, just stand and you line up. We're going to ask everybody that plan to say something. If you just come and say, I don't want to cut off without, please, you can get behind this. They just form a line, state your name if you plan to say something. Everybody that want to say something. Because we don't want to cut anybody off, because that's why we had the meeting, because we want to hear our constituents. But I just want to know how many people we got wanting to say something. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right, just state your name and your address, and just remember you have 3 minutes.
I'm Louise Hughes. I live on Zion Church Road in the county, but I visit the gardens. I've loved them for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
I have no objection to this housing. We need it, but not at that location. There's a vacant lot barely a block up that would make it much easier for people to walk downtown to shop. It's right over across from DPU. Why not use that one? Furthermore, it appears that there's going to be a retention pond right next to the fountain. That does not sound very aesthetic to me for visitors to enjoy the gardens. On that map, does it not say there's a retention pond right across from there? However, mostly, I just want to say I do not think this is the location for the proper location for that kind of housing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, those mints, the public mints, taxpayer mints. How doing?
All right, how you?
Thank you for having me. Now, when I read this in the paper, I was on the fence myself. Of course, I read the headline. If you see what's going to run like Greater Orangeburg.
Did you state your name and your address?
Oh, my bad. I'm Scott Weaver.
Okay.
3072 Bragg Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
Also on the property at 1850 Cherry Woods,
Okay.
downtown, right there by Roses.
Don't put that in your mouth while you talk, because we can't understand you.
Don't say he does it.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right. So anyway, I did some research on these people because I was totally against it. All right, because you read what else is going on in the county, it doesn't make any sense because everything that comes here is not very good. This is a great plan. Prospect development. We're talking about a master plan. These guys specialize in urban development. They're experienced in work, live, urban development. They're a resource for the city, the planning commission, the city council, and they're ready to invest $30 million. Private money, $30 million. We're talking about 30,000. Talking about 30 million. Who's done that? How much did Leonard Sanford do for the mall? They didn't do 30 million. In Orangeburg? I mean, that's a great opportunity. It's private investment. And we're losing citizens left and right. To Lexington, Chapin, Blythewood, Somerville, Cane Bay. You got Dorset County, Berkeley County, all growing up. You go down to 26. They're blowing up. We're getting nothing. One guy made a good point, it goes about education. And my thought on that is we have 3 colleges here, one very good technical college, 2 outstanding 4-year colleges. Claflin's world-renowned, all right? How many high-level entrepreneurs and leaders are we losing from Claflin and South Carolina State to other towns upon their graduation? Another guy made a point about being a gateway. Yeah, that corner is a gateway from the gardens. People get on the gardens, they hit 301, they hit 21, never look at downtown. Never. But this, you put something like that there, that's going to catch the eye. That's going to catch the eye. And I guarantee you these people aren't going to put something there that's not going to blend in. This is what they do. This is their business. Downtown needs foot traffic, all right? I spoke with Vincent Young, who moved, I think it's called Conteo. He invested $1.5 million and got 41 jobs on there on like Citadel Avenue, right? His biggest complaint about Orangeburg was how car dependent everyone was. Nobody walked anywhere. I'm hearing a lot about the past, you know, what the past used to be, what the past used to be. You need to focus on the future. The future, man. In the last 40 years, since 1980, we've lost 12% of our population. That's just in the city. They ain't talking about greater Orangeburg. We're dying. We need life. We need this. Thank y'all.
Good evening, Mr.
Good
Mayor,
Good
Council.
evening. Good
I'm
evening.
Chad Rass. I live on 731 Partridge Road. I am a local contractor and developer. I was going to talk a little bit about the difference between Section 8 and workforce housing, which I hear is a lot of the discussion pertaining to this. However, I think Ms. Neiman has done a very good job of explaining Section 8 versus workforce housing, and clearly this is workforce housing. You know, I guess it comes to the question that, what do you want to see? One thing that is unique about this piece of property is this location. It checks the boxes for workforce housing. It might not be where a lot of people think is the best place for it to go, but the opportunity to put this this very aesthetic-looking complex on the corner and provide the housing, to me, is a lot better than a dilapidated building. And I believe that with the cost of this property and what it's going to cost to demo this property and make it just a ground only, almost makes it impossible for anyone else to come in and do something without absorbing a huge amount of cost. Cost drives everything. I do agree that we have a lot of businesses downtown that would benefit from this. I think we'd have a lot more businesses that will also come to the area. I think rooftops are important. If we don't have rooftops, we don't have people, how are we going to grow? And I do believe we need to grow. The city has got a very nice library conference center complex on the Russell Street end by Railroad Corner. What's getting ready to happen with where Railroad Corner is going to be good. You've got the courthouse coming just down from that. Then you got the square. Then you got City Hall, the new City Hall going. And then you could have this nice workforce housing complex. These are people that I desperately would need in my business. I'm looking for people. I'm sure most of the business owners in here are looking for people that are willing to work and want to work. And I can't find them. I've got almost $1 million worth of equipment for sale right now because I can't put people in the seats of my equipment to do the work that I need to do. I think that a lot of people like me that are business owners and are affiliated with businesses need help, need good, dependable people that will work. And I believe that this development will offer that opportunity for all of us to have at least a pool of 60-some-odd people to pick from. So with that being said, I hope that you will take that into consideration and understand that these business owners and myself are also your constituents as well, and we'd really like your support in this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to try to be brief. I'm Rodney Telbleston. I live on 168 Club Acres Boulevard and own multiple other places in the city. And I've traveled the state and the region, and kind of to cut it real short, when I look at areas like blighted area in Charleston, Greenville, Columbia, Wilmington, Aiken, can you point at one of them that reinvigorated their inner corridor by bringing in low income? And to back up a little bit, I've been in the housing industry in Orangeburg for 30 years. I think, one of the biggest proponents of affordable housing. We need it. We need it in this district. But this particular property is going to it'll be the keystone as far as any development coming back. And I was just looking at something earlier as far as who's highest grade potential residents in this area. Right on the other end of Russell Street, we got South Carolina State University. Average faculty income there is $100,000 or more. If we could create something to bring those folks into this area, that would, again, and I agree housing is what's needed there, and workforce housing is needed. I just don't know if that's the spot, for it. Liz, I don't want to put you on the spot, but we were on the development board at Claflin. We talked about this, what could we do to invigorate this area of Orangeburg? And, it's hate to say, common term is diversity in housing. And I just don't know that that's what this is bringing to the downtown corridor. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Michael Holloway. I live on 172 Hollow Hue Road in Orangeburg County. Just briefly, I'm kind of in agreement with some of the other people. Housing is definitely needed. I just don't like this location. We are the Garden City. People come to the gardens from out of town, from other places to see the gardens. They don't come to see this. This is somewhat of an eyesore, in my opinion, to the beautiful gardens that we do have. Orangeburg needs green spaces as well, not hard spaces. That's just how I feel about it.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Council. I'm Steve Agazada. I live at 196 Elliott Street. I do appreciate the developer wanting to invest in downtown Orangeburg. I think that is desperately needed. I agree with a lot of the members here from the community that that location, I think, would be very problematic for the city. there'd be a lot of increased congestion in that area from car traffic. I would imagine, I don't know if you have considered additional investment in sanitation, in parks, in police to maintain the cleanliness and safety of that area. I would imagine that there is a wealth of opportunity in the existing buildings, in those 60 vacant buildings in downtown Orangeburg, where those upper floors could be taken advantage of for apartments. So I would just ask the developer to reconsider that location in another area, because foot traffic, I agree, is absolutely needed in downtown Orangeburg, and I would like to see that happen. I would love for these other these restaurants and other businesses on Russell Street to stay open and to bring more of that in. But I just think this location for this residence would be better in a different area.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello. How are you?
Hello, Mayor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Kim Sanchez. My husband, Eduardo Sanchez, and I own and operate Rosalia's Mexican Restaurants. We have been doing business in Orangeburg County for 17 years in March. We've been at our current location at 1058 Russell Street since 2013. We own the restaurant and we own the real estate. We own the building. And that's not only the place where I do business, but it's where I lived upstairs in one of those great apartments. And I don't know how many of you were on council in 2014 when Rosalia's had the great honor of were any of you there in Charleston with us? Yay. That was a great day for Orangeburg. Rosalia's was able to bring home the top prize from Main Street, USA, and we won the Inspiration Award for the work that we did on our business there. And I was also named a Master Merchant. I thank them, and I thank you for being there. I am here in support of the proposal to build housing at the end of Russell Street. I'm not only a constituent of yours, I am a resident, and I am a business owner. And I understand in your package you have 29 letters, I believe, from local businesses that are in support of this. I don't see it as a detraction. I see it as an enhancement. I see it as an opportunity to expand the gardens. I had an opportunity to speak with, I haven't met her, but I spoke with her on the phone, the lady who was proposing this to the city. And I was really even more encouraged after I spoke with her of their willingness to be able to utilize and listen to folks and make that corner on Riverbank and Russell Street, if you will, a gate post entrance into that area. I see my time is running out. I could talk forever about how great Orangeburg is, but we'd really like to see our Main Street revitalized, and housing is where it starts. Thank y'all. Please come see us at Rosalia's. We'd love to see y'all.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Darren Rhodes. I'm with Southeast Land and Real Estate. I purposely waited until last because I'm not a constituent. I live in Richland County, so I just want you to know that right up front. However, I work at an office right here in Orangeburg, 275 Cutoff Road. And I'm here simply because I've read some of the comments that were made about the housing that was proposed. I want you to know that early on, so I've been selling commercial real estate for 20-some years. About 7 years ago, I had a piece of property listed in Blythewood, South Carolina. And it was a multi-generational family who had owned this, and they were very concerned about what happened with their property. So I got a phone call from Sarah Neiman, and she was looking to put workforce housing in Blythewood, South Carolina. And I will tell you, I was on your side. The people that are against this, I was very much on your side because I represented a seller who was very concerned about the quality of housing that was going to be put on their land. 3 acres of about a 35-acre tract. They had the rest of this to sell still. So after many questions, same questions that you all have posed, many of the same questions that you've posed, I came to understand more about workforce housing, the way the program works, the fact that you choose a site based on scoring criteria and what brings the best possible chance for bringing workforce housing to a community. And that's why this site was chosen. I then also had to face the question of, is this Section 8 housing? Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with that. So what I can tell you is at that time, Blythewood had about 22 acres of property that had been purchased, and they were in the process of spending millions of dollars building a beautiful park, 2,500 seat amphitheater that's thriving today. Blythewood has since gone back and bought 36 acres, and they're adding more to that park. There are now 2 Prestwick properties sitting on Blythewood, South Carolina, right now, less than a mile away from where Volkswagen is now building their manufacturing plant. I encourage you, if you haven't seen these projects, don't let that picture speak to you. Go, see this in person. You will be more impressed than I think you probably think you will be. As far as the gateway to the garden, you have a beautiful garden, and absolutely it's an asset. And I would just encourage you to look at the opportunity that this would bring, not only this housing, but additional retail and potential commercial development. It typically starts with something just like this. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. I hope that everybody that wanted to speak have spoken, because this is the time for you to come out front and say what you have to say. It's all right to call us at the office or whatever, but you need to stand up and be counted and be a witness of what you want and what you don't want, because a lot of people talk in the background, but they don't talk in the public. So this time, let the people know what side I'm leaning on, whose side I'm on. Mr. Glover? Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't going to say anything, but after having jobs that I have been in every county in the state, the jobs that I've had, and, you know, when we started talking, and I've been in conversations a long time about the railroad corner, and the city has said that we are going to develop from the railroad corner down to the gardens. Now, we have finally got the railroad corner in gear with the way I think it's going to look. I hope so anyway. Now, if we are out marketing the gardens, Eddystone Gardens, as one of the crown jewels of Orangeburg County, because you come down 301, the first thing you're going to see is the rose gardens, and we need workforce housing. Don't get me wrong, I know that because I serve on the Development Commission, and I agree wholeheartedly with the person that spoke from Richland County, who's on workforce development. I think that's what he said. But I think we have a lot of places that we can build these workforce properties in Orangeburg. But I certainly think that we can have lofts up and businesses down the bottom, restaurants and all those kind of things that all of these individuals that come visit Orangeburg and that live here, that visit that garden, that beautiful garden down there continuously. So I just can't be in favor of that being put right there. As much as we need it, and we can find places for it, and I'm sure you can. That's your job, not mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there anybody else before we close? Anybody else? One more. Yes. Come and state your name and your address.
I'm Leonard Blanchard at 1349 Tolly Ganley in the county. And Freddie Felder, the owner of the property, asked me to attend tonight just to come with an open mind. And I'm glad I did. I've learned a lot. I've learned what it's not. I learned what it is. I would rather see Class A housing, but the workforce housing is a level that's appropriate, I think, for this city. I've looked online at Prestwick and have seen a lot of their complexes, the Parkside Verde and the Augusta Heights in Greenville, Ivywood Park in Vinings, the Manor at Scotts Crossing, the Manor at Broad Street in Fulton County, Atlanta. They do a good job with their building, and it's very aesthetically appeasing to the eye. And I think sitting up above the gardens would grow on you after a while. If you're in Greenville, walking the river, you look up and you see how pretty those complexes are scattered about with all the shops and restaurants. One thing that caught my eye with Prestwick was their philosophy. It's discipline, innovation, achievement, integrity, respect, and responsibility. That's what this culture in Orangeburg needs, starting with our children coming up. And with that philosophy and a housing, when I came to Orangeburg 30-plus years ago, I moved into the Northview Hills Apartments, where there were condominiums, and that was my start in housing. And there were similar people in that project, like, well, not project, but condominium complex like myself, and we got to be friends. We was, tax-paying, just part of Orangeburg community, and I plan on staying around Orangeburg. And the verdict is still out with me. I've got some questions to be answered, but I appreciate the time, and I'm going to tell Sarah, I extend an invitation for Jody Tucker, Darian Lee, or Ken Blankenship to come stay with me for a week, 2 weeks, if they want to come, visit schools, eat at the restaurants, shop at Walmart, shop at Walgreens, whatever they want to see in this community. They can stay in my house, I'll feed them, and I won't charge them much rent. But Sarah Newman, I mean it. And you track Freddie down, I live not too far from Freddie, but that's an honest invitation. I'd like to see him come.
Thanks, sir. We want to thank you all tonight for our public hearing, and we glad to see all of you but we're going to move on into our agenda tonight. And our agenda here is the first item on our agenda is the consideration of April 16th, 2024 City Council minutes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. On April the 16th, it said that I voted. I didn't vote on either of the votes. Could the minutes reflect that I did
We
not-
can correct the minutes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. I think we already corrected them. We can correct them.
I didn't vote on
April 16th, Mr. Hannon said that he did not vote, so we want the minutes to reflect that he did not vote. Jerry Hanna. Okay, we want to go back to Mr. Stromer's motion. He made a motion. And who seconded it?
Yeah, I did.
And Ms. Kitt seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have, did you vote on it? Ayes have, motion is carried.
You didn't say with the necessary correction.
With the necessary correction,
Yeah, I
thank you. All right. Okay, so everybody voted? Let me make sure. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, on the second item is the consideration of April 25th, 2024 special city council meeting.
Vote for passage.
Okay. Motion been made by Councilman Stroman, second by Councilman Kalu. All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody, okay. Ayes have it. The motion is carried. The recognition of the community of character trait. The trait for this month is inspiring. Inspiring is encouraging or making you feel you want to do something. So we're gonna ask all the citizens in the Orangeburg County to adopt this trait, inspiring. We're gonna ask, the next item, we're gonna ask Mr. Holly, the manager of DPU, to come. He has a retiree.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, distinguished guests, good evening. It is always a bittersweet opportunity to stand before you to recognize members of our ranks when they retire. And so at this time, I'd like for Mayor and Council to honor Ms. Dialini C. Garvin for her 29-plus years of service. We all know her as Dia. She worked in our wastewater treatment plant. She was a Claflin graduate, and right out of college, she started there. I think she said Mr. Boatwright hired her way back when, and she has been in that plant ever since. And so we are always honored for dedicated service such as hers, Mr. Mayor, members of council.
Thank you. I want to read the resolution. Ms. Garvin will not be here, but if you're listening, Ms. Garvin, we want to read this resolution. Whereas Ms. Dia C. Garvin faithfully served Department of Public Utilities of the City of Orangeburg for 29 years and 9 months and 3 days, with a retirement date of May the 3rd, 2024. Whereas she, through her long faithful service, contributed greatly to the successful operation of the City of Orangeburg. And whereas the City Council, in recognition of the fine contributions rendered to the City of Orangeburg, want to inscribe on record its appreciation. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and members of the council and the council assembly do officially recognize the faithful service rendered to the City of Orangeburg in the capacity in which she served, and we take pride in commending her for a job well done. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution in appreciation for her devotion of duty in the City of Orangeburg will be placed in the minute book of the city in recognition of her service, passed by City Council of the City of Orangeburg, State of South Carolina, this 7th day of May 2024. Let's give Ms. Dia Garvin a big hand. Thank you, Ms. Garvin, for your service rendered to the city.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
I will speak on behalf of Dia. As a student, she was very dedicated to her work, and when she completed her work, she went to the Department of Public Utilities. I remembered quite well what a nice young lady that was so interested in the Department of Public Utilities and went and did the work that she has done.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. And she will receive?
She has already received her proclamation from council and her the gift that council gives as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Harley, do you want to come back and do your?
Yeah, I can come back.
Okay, all right then. Mr. Everett, old business.
Good evening, council, mayor,
Good evening.
and our guests.
Evening.
For your consideration, old business is second reading of an ordinance for consideration of a zoning district map change from B1 General Business to B2 Central Business District for properties belonging to Fred Felder, located at 761 Russell Street, tax map number 0152-20-01-005.000, tax map number 0152-20-01-007.000, a portion of tax map number 0152-015-01-002.000, and a portion of tax map number 0152-20-01-006.000.
Okay. Council, are there any discussion on item number 4 before we call for the motion? Any discussion from anyone? Any discussion from anyone? I want to get this out so council can be well aware, so nobody won't say they didn't hear me. Any discussion?
I have a question,
Okay.
Mayor. I'm not sure if it's the appropriate time to ask, but I want to know if any other properties have been considered for this development.
That would be best answered by Ms. Neiman, I believe.
Ms. Sarah, are there any other properties that has been considered for this project in Orangeburg?
Yes. We came before council and we did several Zoom calls, and I proposed several locations to council to look at a couple different opportunities based off of scoring that SC Housing provides, and it was determined at that time this was the most viable option.
Okay. Okay.
Can I ask you a question? Mr. Mayor and members of the council, listening to the audience and what we have in front of us, the question that we have right now is location. We all agree on the concept of having workforce building. We can also talk about waterfront building. But the point of contention is location, location, location. There have been different voices for and those against. Looking at the statistics in Orangeburg, which I've checked out, we have about 7,500 to 8,000 people that troop in and out of Orangeburg. They come to Orangeburg to work, and then they leave and go somewhere, and they'll go back to their homes in maybe Charleston or Columbia. So there's no doubt that what we have needs a sort of fine-tuning. But what we don't have in Orangeburg is master plan. And I said that before. We just cannot put properties all over the place without a master plan. We are talking about Railroad Corner, all the way from Claflin and State down to the Garden, the downtown area. So bringing everything into perspective needs a thorough evaluation for us to make a determined decision before we can proceed. Having a building is fantastic because the other places like Sprinkle, there's a lot of open space over there that we can also put building. Even on the garden area, I was there this weekend for the festival. On the other side of it, there are rundown buildings that we can also open up on that side and put up fantastic structures. So what we are dealing with today is location, location, location. Looking at our building, the structure. What will it take for it to be, not to be a hindrance or a stumbling block to the Rose Garden? We have to put that into mind before we make any decision tonight. Is this going to enhance the Rose Garden, or is it going to brighten up the Rose Garden? I've brought up a lot of topics tonight that we need to put into perspective before we vote. So I just want to plan that into council's mind for you to think about it before you make your decision. What is it that we want? Is it to enhance the image of Orangeburg? I've been here for almost 40 years. Or is it to hamper the progress of Orangeburg? So before you vote, think about it and make your decision.
Thank you. Okay, see, with that, did you have anything before we call it?
I do not have anything additional unless council has any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Everett?
Just to clarify, we are voting on a rezoning issue, not whether or not this development
Right,
goes
that's-
in this property,
Yeah,
but we are voting on a rezoning issue,
Right.
correct?
Right,
Right.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, an ordinance to approve a change to rezoning district map B1, general business district to B2, central business district for properties belonging to Fred Felder, located at 761 Russell Street, also known as tax map number 0152-2001-005-000, tax map number 0152-2001-007-000. The portion of the tax map number 0152-2000-002-000 and the portion of the tax map number 0152-2001-006-000 and provide for related matters. So we need a motion.
Move for passage of the the zoning district map change from B1 general business to B2
Okay,
general
now,
business.
did I handle this right? Am I handling this right? I read it and then called for the motion. Okay, I want to make sure. Okay.
We just move for the zoning,
Mhm.
but this doesn't say anything about the property.
Uh-uh.
These are two different items here.
Second.
Motion.
For clarification, can we?
Okay, let's clarify this, attorney.
What's the question?
Clarify what we are doing so our council can understand.
The current business before council is the second reading of an ordinance to change the zoning on those properties that are 761 Russell Street. There are two tax map numbers and a portion of two other tax map numbers. There is nothing in the application, the ordinance that's being considered right now, that speaks to the specifics of the project. It is simply whether the property would be zoned from B1 to B2.
That's
And then
right.
to the commercial,
Yes, sir.
Uh,
It's general business to central business.
and we could I'm just getting clear. We could move forward, if we put something else there. It is already be zoned for it.
This is merely a zoning change, and whatever could be within the B2 district
Right.
would be eligible to be if the property was rezoned.
Okay. we
Well,
got it.
apartments would be eligible to go there then, if you change it.
I haven't looked at the zoning to see what all is eligible within the B2 district, but whatever is in the city's current zoning.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that whatever we put down there will be in that zone, because it didn't have to be.
It's B1 now.
Huh?
The zone, as I understand it, the current zoning is B1 general business. And the request is to rezone it to B2 central business district.
So they can build apartments, right?
And I'm, obviously, the
But you
zoning
don't
administrator
have
here, you may be able to speak to that, but it's whatever would be permissible within the B2 district.
Yeah, I wanted to, my thinking was to get it zoned to whatever we're gonna put down there. You know, be already zoned, that's our thinking.
And maybe I misunderstand the question. Obviously, the city does not own the property.
Right.
So it is merely a matter of whether the zoning change would be appropriate in the city council's mind, regardless of what the project is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
Well, apartments can go with B2 then.
yeah, that don't mean you have to put them down there.
No.
That don't mean you have to put them down there, you put whatever. I want us to be clear now, I don't want nobody to be, we don't want to be,
We're voting on the zoning issue.
okay.
Mr. Mayor,
I think
No, let him, he need to get clear. Get clear, Rich.
if we zone it, we'll approve the apartments then.
No,
We're not.
No.
No, we're not.
no.
No.
You just voting on the zoning issue from B, what it is, B what?
B1
B1 to B2.
B1 to B2.
to B2 central business district. that has nothing to do with the apartment.
Mr. Mayor, for point of clarification, I think I understand what he's trying to say, and which I'm on the same side with him. What are the components of B2? That's what we need to know. What are the components? Because if the apartment is part of the components of B2, if you approve it, she has the right to put that apartment in B2. So, Mr. Johnson, what is the components of B2?
Go ahead, John, let John tell you. Go ahead, John.
The B2 regs would allow for multifamily housing, just like Railroad Corner was changed to B2 for housing. And the purpose of the B2 district is the concept for the downtown to be able to have residential and business combined and have space where you can have, good example, a business with an apartment over the top of it, but it does have some form of, it's multifamily residential is allowed in that.
So, and you know, going forward, what, in our plan, we wanted start all of those buildings downtown to have be able to put residentials upstairs.
Correct. So as you go, and there, when we did the rezoning of Railroad Corner, we rezoned some additional space on the downtown corridor going toward the B2, which allows housing. Right now, B1 is only for commercial business. It allows commercial business. It does not allow anything above it.
So housing cannot go in B1?
Housing cannot go in B1, no.
Yeah, we want, okay. We getting clarity, excuse audience, if y'all just flow with us, we getting clarity of what, hold on, Richard. We getting clarity of what we're doing. We want to make sure that we are following the right clarity. We need to have discussion with our attorney and with John Singh and our city administrator. So at this time, you want to?
I move that we rescind the motion on the zoning district map change from B1 to general to B2. I rescind.
Okay. The motion's been made by Councilman Kidd.
Not to do it.
Right, Mayor, we had a motion that was second.
But, okay.
But she
We
rescinded.
can carry. Okay, we had a motion on the table, but are we supposed to carry since we stopped?
There was a motion and a second.
Okay.
To approve the second
Okay.
reading of the rezone.
All right, let's hear this motion out, because you made a motion.
Yeah.
You know, the first time.
Right.
Okay, let's hear this motion out, and let's see how we gonna vote, and then we come back and you can do the rescind.
You don't have to do that.
Is that correct?
I don't think you have to do that.
The council certainly can vote on the pending motion.
Uh-huh.
The pending motion could also be amended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pending motion could be tabled. There are any number of options the council has.
But we want to vote. We want to vote. No, we want to vote. We need to vote. We need to vote. If we're gonna move off there, we need to vote, get off the table. Yeah.
We don't want to table it.
You don't.
Why not
You
table
can't.
it?
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be seen. But they had a motion on the floor.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so carry it through.
Okay. Michael, give us the language, please. Give us the language. We had a motion on the table, on the floor.
There was a motion made
And it
by,
was-
I believe, Councilman Kidd,
Uh-huh.
and a second by Ms. Rivas,
Uh-huh.
Member Rivas.
Okay.
And as far as I understand the current status, that's where council sits at the moment.
Okay.
But we can make a motion to table it, okay?
A motion to table would be in order.
Okay.
I make a motion
After
to
a
table it.
seconded motion, you can.
No, let's carry this out. We gotta carry this out, and then,
Yes, a motion to table is in order. It is non-debatable and immediately in order.
Okay, let him go ahead and do the table.
okay, go ahead.
Go
Make a
ahead.
motion to table it.
Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Stroman, second by Councilman Kidd. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? You opposed, Ms. Reed?
No, I don't. I don't know. No.
And so how you vote?
Yeah, I vote to, so we're tabling this
Table it.
until when?
We table it we table it,
To the next
Michael, give me, we table it until we bring it back, or we table it for now?
That is obviously council's pleasure as to whether there is a postponement of the current motion that is on the floor to a date certain, or an actual tabling of the motion that's on the floor. Those are two different motions.
Well, I mean, if we going, we better postpone it, because if we can't table it, we'll postpone it. We better go like that until we'll bring it back.
You can vote it now.
And I certainly don't want to presume to chair the meeting, but I think it would be Councilman Stroman who made that motion who would need to clarify what his intent was.
Okay. Go
To
ahead.
vote now.
To table the motion that was pending, or to postpone that motion.
I mean, you just keep these people waiting.
No, you got to give him an answer. Give him an answer. You want to postpone it, or you want to table it?
I'm gonna table it.
No. You want- No, you have to postpone, because you table, you got.
I wanna vote tonight.
His clarity was to postpone.
To postpone it until
Do what?
I mean, right now, I'm just trying to stay in the law.
The motion to postpone requires some additional clarity as to what time, date, something beyond.
Okay. Well, we better say to the next time.
A motion to table is just that, it is laid on the table, and if council does not remove it from the table during the current meeting, technically the motion dies.
Okay. All right. Rich, you wanted, your motion gonna be to table it? Now we got to move it from, we got to get it off the table after you table it. Okay, so what's your motion? Give you a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion to table it.
Okay, is that a second? Okay, you already seconded?
Second, I
Okay.
already second.
Okay. Motion has been made by Councilman Stroman to table it. Councilman Kidd has seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
2, 4. Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, the motion is gonna be tabled, and it was 4 people voted to table it, 2 opposed. All right. Okay.
All right, so y'all ready to move on to the
Yeah,
next
move
item?
on to the next
Okay,
item.
I'm sorry. Item number 5 is second reading of an ordinance authorizing the transfer of certain parcels of real property with improvements, if any, located near the western corner of the intersection of Seaboard Street and Russell Street. I am pulling it up for your benefit and for the public's benefit, so they can actually see what the tax map numbers represent. Identified as all of tax map number 0152-20-01-008.000, a portion of tax map number 0152-20-01-002.000, and a portion of tax map number 0152-20-01-006.000. Council, as you might recall, this would allow the city to sell the highlighted portion there to Ms. Neiman's Development Company for purposes of the development that was proposed earlier. Happy to answer any questions you
Are
might
there
have.
any
The
questions
purchase
for
price
Ms.
is $17,600. I just want to make sure I mention that.
We want to understand that Ms. Neiman's, Ms. Sarah company want to purchase this property for $17,000, and we have that on the floor right now, to transfer. So we deal with the property of transferring it, selling it to her for $17,000.
$17,000.
$17,000. Oh, no.
I make a motion tonight.
Okay. No, he said he make a motion to deny this.
Yeah, did you get a second? Oh, I thought, a second.
Okay. Motion has been made by Councilman Stroman to deny this, this item number 5, and it's been seconded by Councilman Kidd. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
4-2.
That's all.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, good evening again. It is my distinct pleasure to stand before you to announce that your Department of Public Utilities has earned the distinction of reliable public power provider by the American Public Power Association. We have attained the gold level distinction. I'd ask Mr. Wade Holmes and Javaris Miles to come up with us, as well as they put in a tremendous amount of work to help us achieve this. Just a little bit about the award. It is based on industry recognized leading practices in 4 very important disciplines: reliability, safety, workforce development, and system improvement. The RP3 designation is a sign of our utilities' dedication to operating an efficient and safe, reliable distribution system. Being recognized by the RP3 program demonstrates DPU's commitment to its employees, to its community, to its customers. And we want to also say that it is also a distinction that council ought to be proud of, because you had to permit us to do our jobs and commit the resources that we needed to meet these standards. So we want to make sure that we know, you know, that it is with your dedication and hard work that we stand before you to bring you this honor. And Mr. Mayor and members of council, this is the plaque that we have been given. Again, Mr. Wade Holmes, to my left, is our director of the electric division, and Mr. Javaris Miles is the data analyst engineer. Javaris spearheaded this project. Mr. Holmes and I, early on when I got to the DPU, we looked at the RP3 designation. We knew we weren't ready, and it would take several years for us to get there. Again, with your dedication and service to giving us the resources to do so, we've been able to meet that standard. Mr. Miles, again, led the effort to put all of the application and all the hard work into getting that done. And so, Mr. Mayor, I want to present this to you and the council. I'll be happy to answer any questions if council has any.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Warren,
Yes, sir.
is there anything higher than the gold bar?
Yes, there is platinum. That's the next level. So we started out at gold. There's one lower than gold as well. So
I shouldn't ask the question.
I think there's
I know we were top notch, but I shouldn't ask the question.
yeah, there's bronze, silver, gold, and we're shooting for platinum next. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. We want to thank all of you all for coming tonight, and y'all need to come more often. Not when we have something hot on the press. We want to see you more often just as a general council. I see so many our good friends out there. I don't want to start calling names. I might miss somebody. But thank y'all for being here, and you have a good night. And we want to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
The motion been made by Ms. Hannah, threw me off. The motion been made by Councilman Kidd, second by Councilman Kidd. All in favor? Ayes have it. The motion is carried. Mr. Hannah want to say Happy Mother's Day to everybody.